Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you today? Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to Coping with Life. I am your host, Scott, as always. And it's Saturday. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful week. So before we begin this week's episode, I want to thank each and every one of you. You matter. And if you're not doing well, please talk to somebody. Reach out. You matter. I'm tired of turning on social media and finding that, people have committed suicide and, there's people out there that care about you. There's people out there that, you matter. Even if you don't think you do, you do. So, please reach out to somebody if you're not doing well. If you see somebody that's not doing well, give them a hotline number. Reach out. I want to see each and every one of you be happy and live a great life. You matter. And it tears my heart to know that people are no longer walking this plane of earth due to things that may be fixable. And, being a realist, there's some things that are not fixable and, they try and make the best choice that they can. But also, you matter. You matter so much. Each and every one of you matter. Oh, I'm just saying, please reach out to somebody. And I thank you so much for learning and joining this ride with me. This is Coping with Life. I'm your host, Scott, as always. And, I want to be real with each and every one of you. That's one of the reasons why this podcast exists, is me talking about things. And I do want to educate other people who may not know what to say when somebody's mentally ill or unstable or going through a bad time. And I do. I live a life of depression, lack of motivation most times. And, procrastinating and going through the emotions and a lot of feelings. I'm speaking out and telling my story and trying to help other people. And, I want to thank each and every one of you who's joining me on my journey. And I'm trying to learn as I go, try and be better. And, it really hurts, waking up knowing that people that they're just not there anymore. And that affects me in many ways. And, it leaves so much things to say and speechless, and it affects my way of thinking. And, I want to reach out to everybody. If you're in a dark place, or if you see somebody that's in a dark place, reach out. So, if you want to support my podcast, please go to anchor.fm/copingwithlife and all the other episodes, and a support tab there to help keep this podcast going. And this week's episode is going to be about feelings and more emotions, because I think that's rather interesting to me, because my mood can change on a dime. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I'm not like a lot of people. I can't just get over something. Things take time for me to heal. And so I'm going to just talk about emotions. And everybody has them, I hope. There's a lot of people that seem to not care or have any emotion at all. But hopefully everybody here, wants to make everybody feel good and laugh. I try to make everybody laugh. But emotions, it's not easy. It's, every single day is different. And I know the last couple, it's been grumpy for me. My attitude has been lackluster. And it's just, just no effort. And I want to feel better. And so that's, my personal feelings. But when I'm talking to somebody, or if I'm out, walking around town, I'm going to be the positive person, or if I'm messaging somebody, I'm going to be as positive as possible. But if I'm just sitting at home alone, I let my thoughts run wild. But I do know that, a lot of the things that I'm going through, they're slowly healing. They're slowly getting better. And that's a lot of effort on my part, because nothing will get better unless you try. And I've been trying really hard. And I know that it's getting a lot better. And I want people to smile. And, but, I don't really watch the news. I don't follow a lot of things. I like a lot of happy stuff. I will follow where the good positivity is. I stay away from toxicity. And, you can't avoid it. And I don't. But I try to limit myself to how much drama and toxicity I endure. And I try really hard to make sure everybody is doing well. But at the same time, trying to make self that I'm doing well. And self-care, and making sure that I can get up and I can take a shower, get personal hygiene, clean my apartment, do daily upkeep. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I don't want to. And, reading news, reading things that just take your breath away. It drains me, it drains my brain. And knowing that it could have been prevented. And obviously these people reached out, and yet nobody heard their cries. And it's hard. And I wasn't in a position to know this person, but it still affects me. And it brings, a lot of people that, I blog on social media, and people that I'm close to are no longer living. And it just makes me think, because it's a spiral effect. And it really brings me down. And it hits me harder if it's somebody in my close circle. So, I do hope everybody is doing well. And, when I feel a plethora of emotions throughout the day. And sometimes it can be overwhelming. Sometimes it's hard for me to accept what I may be feeling. Because I may be having a fantastic time, and then something happened that just killed my mood. And it always confuses me because it's like, does this warrant my mood change? And most of the time, I don't actually understand that my mood changed. I don't see it. And because I can go, no, I'm having a good time. It's like, well, it doesn't sound like it. It's like, I don't know. I feel good. And I don't understand why I might be bitter but I try really hard to make sure that everybody is doing well, and not sure why mood change would happen. But something changed my mood. And it always baffles me. It always is confusing because it's different, because I may be having a good time and then the next day do the same thing, and maybe a few cheap laughs, but depending on what my day happened, I may be just miserable. And usually I tell people, I communicate my feelings, and some people find it off-putting that I'm so open about my feelings and what I'm going through. It's like, I'm not going to hide anything. If I'm happy, if I'm pissed, pissed. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I wear my emotion on my sleeve, and a lot of things affect me. I'm trying to get really better at that. But, that's how I am. That's how I operate. I'm a very emotional person. I'm not afraid to cry. I'm not afraid to let my emotions flow. I'm very sensitive. But, if you got a problem with me, tell me. If you have something you want to ask me, If I don't want to answer something, I won't. I'll probably tell you I'm not going to answer that. And I get why that's attitude, that demeanor is off-putting, because they're used to people hiding secrets. Excuse me. And I don't tell secrets, I don't tell lies. If somebody tells me something privately, I ain't going to tell anybody else. But, I'm not a secretive person. I don't hide things. I'm overly honest. I highly enjoy being absolutely truthful. If I mess up, I'm, going to say something. I don't get the point of lying. I don't get the point of hiding things. It's hard because, if I mess up, if I make a mistake, I'm going to own it. And sometimes, I'm going to be honest, sometimes I will take the blame for something that I totally didn't do. And yeah, that's affected me a lot through my life. But I felt in the moment that I needed to take the fall. And I don't feel bad, because you know, I try and make a choice and I live with it. I don't live with regret, and I try to be as open-minded as I can and try to make everybody feel better or feel good and continuing on. But not everybody knows what I've been through, and there's a lot of things that I'm trying to be honest and open up and let my emotions go. But at the same time, I care about the listeners, you who's listening to this. You matter. And no matter what you're going through or what emotions you may be feeling, that matters. If something doesn't feel right, try and stop the bleeding, try and find ways to make the situation better. And, no matter how big of a hole you created, there is a way out. And I keep on trying to climb out of the pit of disparity that I live in. And I'm happy. I mean, I've survived as long as I have. And I'm proud. And I keep on going. And I keep on there. And I know for a fact that I like to make people smile, laugh. There's a lot of people who I know currently going through so much stress. And they look forward to getting in a call with me. And it's like, okay, just ramble, just talk. Eventually you're going to find something, you're going to say it, and it's going to make me feel better. And I do. If you just give me an open way to talk, vent, rant, I will try and find a positive in there and make light of it. Even things that shouldn't be made light of, I go there. And, if you send me an email saying, hey, I'm going through this, it's like, I'm probably not going to, because I don't know you very well. I can't, but people close to me, I will make jokes, laugh, and just be weird. And most people will go, ugh, okay. But some people will get that and go, oh, trying to break the ice with a sport. And it's a plastic sport too. Eventually I'm going to break something. Most likely it's a sport, but, tempted there to break the ice with a plastic sport. You're welcome. And, and see, I'm talking, I'm having, nobody else is here, it's just me, and I'm making myself laugh. My emotion has greatly changed during this episode. And because I want people to feel good. I want me to feel good. I want to live a better life. I want everybody to live the best life possible. Breathe. Thank you. Alright. Sometimes I forget to breathe and I just go. And, emotion is hard. And I have a feeling I'm going to hit this topic a lot. Because my emotions will go rampant 0 to 180 back to 0 in a matter of 2 seconds flat. Yeah. It's so ridiculous of what can affect me, and it's weird, and there is a huge timing delay on that. Because I have a few stories where I'm having a great time, then my mood shifts to poor, and while my attitude hasn't actually shifted yet, it goes back to being positive, but my brain hasn't got that dopamine hit yet, so I'm grumpy, and then in an oddly place where, I will just burst out laughing, and, it's a quirk, I guess. And I try really hard to lift people up and, tell everybody that I love them, tell them that they matter. And, when I reach out to people or I ask questions, when I talk to somebody, I'm not after anything except the general well-being of the person that I'm reaching out to or trying to reach out to them. Spread the love, spread the happiness, and sometimes, I may be in a very poor mood and not want to do anything, but sometimes I have to prevail. I have to pull myself up and say, this needs to be done. Like yesterday, it needs to be done. And it may take me a while, but, and there's a few emotions that I'm not going to touch upon in this episode because I want to dedicate an entire episode on it. So I'm just letting everybody know that. And so let me throw that out to you. When you're mad, how do you deal with your anger and your emotions? When you're sad, what do you do? How do you handle it? Because for me, I'm still figuring that out. I don't know. I don't handle it very well. Most of the time I just shut down and just go, yeah, whatever, meh. I'm fine. Cool. Whatever. Yeah. I'm fine. So, very dismissive, very, very hard to let people in after I've shut myself down. So, I'm curious of what other people do to handle their frustrations, because, to me, everybody's different, and, if somebody has a technique that they use, I'm going to give it a try. However, my favorite emotion is happiness, and spread the positivity, because a lot of people, do deal with stress, and, I like to, use my quirk, use my power to make people feel better. And, that's something that makes me happy. Because, life is hard. And, depending on where you are in life, sometimes it's good to have somebody who is so lost with themselves that they can just be them, and, I know who I am, I know what I'm good for, and, I know a lot of things about my life that I can never change, and that will probably never change. But at the same time, I want to persevere. I want to make everybody laugh. I want to reach out and tell everybody that they matter. And, if somebody is struggling out there, if you're struggling, reach out to somebody. There's a lot of hotlines, and you matter. And I love each and every one of you. With emotions and depression and all these thoughts, and you matter. I'm everybody on this planet. Human beings should look after human beings, help each other out. And I'm glad that I can be a shining beacon. And sometimes I'm not, and I'm going to be honest that I'm not doing well mentally. Right now, I am. Saturday. I'm really happy that it's Saturday. Because, it's one of my favorite days of the week. It's Saturday. And Coping with Life comes out on Saturdays. And I want to thank each and every one for joining this episode. See you next week. And help share my podcast, help other people. And I hope you're doing well. And, ask yourself how you can make somebody's day, pay it forward and continue the good fight, help people. Also, if you want to help grow my podcast and, help me out to better the podcast, go to anchor.fm/copingwithlife. That's one word. And there's a support tab. Feel free. You don't have to, but that would definitely help me. And I really want to grow an amazing community. And, I really want people to understand that, being emotional is not a bad thing. It's how honest are you? And for me, I'm very open. I'm loudly open about my feelings. And sometimes, it's not a good thing, because sometimes if I'm really mad, I may audibly say something. And, being a very kind-hearted person, when my emotions get out of hand, it can get out of hand. And I do apologize, but at the same time, it is me. And, so I love each and every one of you. And, just how do you handle emotions? Because I'm still learning. I'm still growing to try and find better ways. Because, I want life to be a happier place. I want people to be a lot better. Be where they want to be. And I want to see each and every one of you back here next week. And maybe grow this community more. Spread the word as much as you can. Thank you so much. This has been an episode of Coping with Life. Thank you so much. I bid you adieu. Wow, that was such an emotional episode. Thank you, Scott. That was a great episode about emotions. What a roller coaster. Thank you so much for listening to an amazing episode of Coping with Life. I'm your host, Scott. Be safe. Love you all. And see you next week.